What do you do when your child throws tantrums? If you follow gentle parenting, respectful parenting, what do you do to help your child? Maybe you go to Google and you get some tips and you apply them, and then it seems that it's not helping. Or sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't help. There are 4 hidden signs of your child's tantrums that you might be missing, and it's going to give you so many clues of why the things that you're doing are not working and what to do instead, still using respectful, gentle parenting. My name is Marcela Collier. I'm a parenting with understanding coach, owner of High Impact Club, parenting education online platform, and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this YouTube channel, every single week, you get a new episode where you're going to learn how to respond to your children's behaviors with what they exactly need so you can break your cycle. Okay, so let's talk about the 4 hidden signs of a tantrum, and stick with me because at the very end, I'm going to tell you how to get the 4 steps to stop tantrums in under 5 minutes. Because yes, according to studies, a well-handled tantrum should last longer than 5 minutes. And if it does, there are things that maybe you are doing or some things are happening that are making the tantrums worse. And this video is going to help you with that as well. Number 1, children's tantrums are goal-oriented. And that differentiates tantrums from meltdowns, because meltdowns are not goal-oriented. They are emotional responses to high stress. So if a child is sensory overloaded and then he feels that it's too much for his senses, that noise, the crowd, the heat, the sun, the cold, then they're not really goal-oriented when they are hitting, kicking, screaming, throwing, when they're on the floor. They're just going through a very emotional state of high stress. Tantrums are different. They're very goal-oriented. You may see similar behaviors, hitting, kicking, throwing, yelling, but the child is looking to get something or to get out of something. It is really goal-oriented. The thing that people get stuck with is that they get stuck on redirecting the child's demands. I want the red cup. Oh, baby, but you know the red cup is in the dishwasher. We cannot stop the dishwasher. It's already running. Maybe you can use this green cup. No, I want the red cup. And then the parents get stuck on helping the child understand that the demand that they're having is not reasonable, and they miss what the tantrum is really trying to communicate. Every tantrum, every single behavior communicates a need, a missing skill. And yes, the need is not that they want the red cup. There is an underlying need beyond your child's demands that I teach in the Tantrums workshop. And when you understand what that is, then you're going to speak to the need and not to your child's demands. Hidden sign number 2. Children during a tantrum, they're very attentive to the audience reactions. According to studies, 70% of the time that parents or caregivers, adults in general, intervene during a child's tantrums, the tantrum gets worse. And it's because children are very responsive and sensitive to what the adult is doing during a tantrum. So if you try to impose your will and no, you're going to have this green cup because that's all we have, I'm sorry, then children are going to feed off of that. Instead of the tantrum being less intense, it becomes more intense until it's just a big meltdown or a big power struggle. How do you do this? The idea is that you learn to communicate with your child during a tantrum. So instead of getting worse, it gets less intense. For example, Jill, she went through the tantrums workshop and her child has speech delay. So it's not about that children are able to verbally communicate, but communication could be many different ways. It could be communication with our own behavior or helping our children communicate in a different way, alternative ways that might not be communicating with words. So her child has speech delays, and then she says that since she went through the tantrums workshop, it has helped her figure out when tantrums are about to start and redirect them before they begin. And she said that she's shocked at the difference that has made for her and her child with speech delay. So learn to communicate with your child during a tantrum. So whatever you do is not focused on the demand of the tantrum, but the need it communicates. Hidden sign number 3, consequences and discipline don't work during tantrums. And this is a big misconception that people think that the consequence would stop a tantrum and rather it will escalate a tantrum. I'm a certified positive discipline coach. I do believe in discipline. I believe in consequences, positive discipline consequences, not punishment. However, a tantrum is not a place to discipline. If you discipline during a tantrum and the tantrum gets worse, that's the sign that your child is in a tantrum. So you don't discipline, you de-escalate the tantrum. That's the main takeaway that I want you to have. You don't discipline, you de-escalate. Hidden sign number 4, the parent, when there is a tantrum, the parent feels the urgency to stop the tantrum. We may tell our kids, oh, use your words, or take a few deep breaths, calm down and use your words. When children, especially children under 4, they don't have the brain development to self-regulate. They need something that is called co-regulation. And once they are regulated with our help, then they could follow instructions a little bit better. But that doesn't happen during the tantrum. So if you're trying to stop a tantrum, even with gentle parenting practices, you won't go anywhere. You need to learn to de-escalate the tantrum instead of stopping the tantrum. Where do I teach how to de-escalate the tantrum in under 5 minutes without yelling, without punishment, even if your child has a special diagnosis, even if your child is very young, even if your child is older? If you are a parent who has a child who throws tantrums, I highly encourage you to register for the Tantrums workshop. Registration is open. I'm going to be live on April 8th at 7 p.m. Eastern time with you, teaching you the same strategies that I applied for 9 years with my little clients in therapeutic foster care. All of those kids had high tantrums, and I helped them with those 4 steps, going from a lot of tantrums to communicating their needs better, even if they had a diagnosis, even if they were not able to communicate verbally yet, even if they were older children. These 4 steps apply for all these kids, and I worked with kids from 0 to 17 years old. Registration is open. The workshop is on April 8th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. For registering today, you get 3 bonus classes. Number 1, on how to help your child when the yelling starts. That's the stepping stone towards the tantrum. What to do with the yelling so it doesn't become a tantrum. That's bonus video class number 1 that you get for registering today. Number 2, how to help your child calm down the way they like. Oh, I tried to give him a kiss or a hug and he pushes me away. That might not be the way. So you're going to learn the things that they like or they need you to do in order to calm down. And number 3 is what to ignore and what not to ignore. I'm not for ignoring children, but there are things in the tantrum that I encourage you to not focus on them because it's going to make the tantrum worse. And you're going to learn how to do this without ignoring your kids. And that's bonus number 3. And if you're a Spanish speaker, si hablas español, the Tantrums workshop is going to be in Spanish as well. On April 8th, I'm going to meet with you live. It's going to be in English. But after the workshop, you are going to see the replay in your members area plus the Spanish version. I encourage you to register before all the Zoom seats are taken. And if you are watching this video after April 8th, 2022, you can still get the Tantrums workshop. You're going to see all the bonus classes and the replay. Just open the description box, click the link, and either register for the workshop if you're before April 8th or get the Tantrums workshop, and I'll see you in there. I encourage you to register and keep parenting your children with understanding. I'll see you next time.